And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, it is a bit strange to be hosting this on the afternoon, but yes, too many things happening out there today. Well, first of all, the weather is 24 degrees and cloudy, and boy, did we get some rain. We'll look at some of the rains. And Devika, good afternoon. Yes, welcome to the show at this time of the day. First day of December. Well, would you believe it? Yes, this year has gone so fast as well. Here we are on the first day of December, still talking about the pandemic, and now we're talking about a new variant that has come out as well. Well, in this segment today, we will have the general news, of course, the Daily India report with Ankita there as well, and we have a very, very wonderful interview today. As we know, come summer, people are getting, for the swim, but how do we make sure that, all our water areas, meaning swimming pools, etc., are good, safe, and ready for the summer? Well, first of all, he is our Premier in the Parliament today. Let's take it up from there. Yes, we're ready.
Ministerial statements. I call the Honourable the Premier.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker, I can advise Queensland that there are no community cases of COVID today. There are 2 new cases in hotel quarantine, 1 interstate travel and 1 overseas acquired. There are now 16 active cases. In good news, 10,428 tests were conducted yesterday. 9,658 vaccines were delivered by Queensland Health in the past 24 hours. We now stand at 86.46% of Queenslanders have had 1 dose, and 76.44% are fully vaccinated. Mr Speaker, yesterday I attended a National Cabinet meeting where I received an update about the Omicron variant. I'm happy to take the advice of Professor Paul Kelly that more work will be conducted over the next 14 days. I will let the Prime Minister and Professor Kelly comment on this variant, as they will have the latest and will have full carriage of that advice. Mr Speaker, Queensland's cautious approach is the right approach. While New South Wales yesterday strengthened its quarantine requirements, Queensland's cautious border settings have already put us in a good position. No changes have been made to our roadmap. Queensland will continue to monitor developments and listen to the expert advice. We will continue to keep Queenslanders safe. The best thing that Queenslanders can do is to get vaccinated prior to December 17. Mr Speaker, it's the first day of December and the first day of summer, and the wet season is well and truly here. This morning I was briefed by the Bureau of Meteorology, Police Commissioner, QFES Commissioner, the Deputy Premier was in attendance, as was Minister Ryan. The wet weather situation affecting much of the southern and southeastern Queensland, including the township of Inglewood. Mr Speaker, overnight Inglewood residents were evacuated following a decision of the local disaster management group after 122 mils of rain in a very short time, with 90 mils received in just 1 hour. I'm advised that waters reached a peak of 11.2 metres at 4 a.m, thankfully less than the expected peak of 11.7 metres, and water levels are now receding. 14 patients at Inglewood Hospital were evacuated to Warwick Base Hospital, and 140 people were accommodated at designated assembly points. I thank the LDMG and the Mayor, residents and emergency services staff and volunteers for their swift action during this time. There is no doubt that some people's homes will be impacted and damage will be assessed today. QFES and rural volunteers are ready to help residents get back to their homes and assist with the clean-up. The flooding is, of course, the result of prolonged heavy falls in southern and southeastern Queensland over the past few days. I'm advised that over the past 24 hours, falls of up to 180 millimetres have been recorded in some parts of Queensland, and our emergency services personnel, including SES volunteers, have been working to keep Queenslanders safe. The heaviest falls in the southeast were at Mount Glorious and Ocean View, with heavy rain also on the Darling Downs. There have been 320 calls for assistance, with nearly half of those jobs in the Greater Brisbane area. QFES advises there have been 30 swiftwater rescues in the past 24 hours. Swiftwater rescue crews have already been deployed from Brisbane to Roma, Chinchilla and Gundawindi, with local teams already established at Toowoomba and Inglewood. Further deployments to Warwick and Texas will also occur today. Mr Speaker, the Weather Bureau has advised that showers and severe thunderstorms are possible for the southeast today. The trough has moved offshore, which means the heavy, wide-range rainfalls will become more isolated. As at 8 o'clock this morning, there are extensive flood warnings in place across Queensland. In particular, emergency services are keeping a close eye on Gundawindi as the flooding from Inglewood recedes. I urge Queenslanders to listen for updates and always heed the advice, and please remember, if it's flooded, forget it.
Yeah.
Mr Speaker, today is an important step forward in our plan to make Queensland a renewable energy superpower. In late 2018, we partnered with global renewables giant Acciona to build Queensland's largest solar farm in Aldoga, west of Gladstone. In November last year, I announced a landmark partnership between Iwatani and Stanwell to build a large-scale 3-gigawatt hydrogen facility, also in Aldoga. Today, I'm pleased to announce that the state-owned Stanwell Corporation have this morning signed a memorandum of understanding with Acciona in a deal that could see the solar farm provide renewable power to the hydrogen facility in the future. Mr Speaker, this is an important development. We know there's growing demand for renewable hydrogen in burgeoning export markets like Japan and South Korea. But to create renewable hydrogen, we need other reliable sources of renewable energy. Mr Speaker, we're investing in projects like this because we know that more renewables means more jobs. I'm advised that Stanwell-Iwatani Hydrogen Project has the potential to create more than 5,000 new jobs over 30 years, with strong flow-on benefits for local workers in a range of sectors, including construction, heavy manufacturing, utilities and local services. And that's not all. Today's Memorandum of Understanding comes only a month after we made another landmark hydrogen announcement for Central Queensland, partnering with Dr Andrew Forrest company Fortescue Future Industries to build one of the world's largest hydrogen equipment and manufacturing factories in Aldoga. Mr Speaker, for decades people have talked about Queensland's future as a hydrogen superpower. The future is already beginning. Queensland is not just in the race for clean energy, we're in the lead. Mr Speaker, we'll continue to invest in renewables, energy and advanced manufacturing to create jobs and capitalise on the green energy revolution. Mr Speaker, Alan Langer is a legend and now it's official. It was a fabulous night at the Q Sports Awards where it was my honour to present Alfie with his trophy as the latest legend of Queensland sport. A much-loved rugby league great who had the audience applauding for his outstanding record and laughing at his hilarious stories, and wiping away tears as he thanked his parents. In a great Queensland sport moment, Wayne Bennett and Kevin Walters shared their appreciation of Alfie after Kevin joked about which Supercoach should speak first. The night was a tremendous celebration of the depth, strength and spirit of Queensland sport. Hall of Fame inductees this year included Tutai Kefu, another very moving moment after what happened to their family earlier this year. As for the Sports Stars of the Year, there were 12 nominees, so much Queensland talent. It was such a difficult choice that for the first time in Q Sport history, the judges named joint winners. Ash Barty, who won Wimbledon this year, and Emma McEwen, who won 4 gold among her 7 medals in Tokyo.
Thank you very much, Premier, for that update. And as we know, Inglewood and all the flooding that's taking place, well, here, in around Brisbane and all the outer suburbs as well, lots of rain. So as that saying goes, if it is flooded, forget it. It is easier said than done. People always take that risk. Well, look, you don't have to go out bush or somewhere to get caught in the water. It could be any of your suburban corner. Around the corner, the drain might be blocked. So if there's water on the road, please do not drive into that. Here's a report on the flooding.
Authorities are monitoring flooding across several districts in Queensland after emergency alerts and evacuations. About 800 residents from the southern border town of Inglewood spent the night at evacuation points with homes and businesses inundated. Reporter Michael Rennie joins us now from Ipswich, southwest of Brisbane. Hi there, Michael. So what can you tell us?
Morning, afternoon, Roz. Yeah, look, there is a flood issue that's happening right across Queensland at the moment. You could almost say half of Queensland's river systems have some sort of flood watch on them at the moment. The worst of it has been in Inglewood, which is about 2.5 hours west of Brisbane. But I'm here in Ipswich this morning. This is the catchment for the Bremer River. And as you can see, it's very, very full at the moment. It's starting to fill up. We've been talking to locals around here this morning who have told me that, this has been rising very quickly in this area. And this bridge remains open at the moment, but if it continues to rise, you can imagine it will be closed at some point. And I spoke to other residents around here as well who told me that they'd come down to have a look at this this catchment. They were worried about their home because they've had flooding here in the past, so concerned that it's going to get up again, and that happened back in 2017, that the bottom level of their house got flooded because they're right next to the river, and they're concerned that that could potentially happen here again. But Ipswich had a lot of rain overnight, and other areas around Brisbane. But it is where it is in Inglewood where we saw the biggest issues, and people evacuated. Almost 1,000 people evacuated from homes. Some of those people were forced to stay in a cemetery in Inglewood because it was the highest point that they could actually stay in, and the safest point for them to be in last night. And so drastic measures taken for those people. The river has
drastic levels when you have to take shelter in a cemetery, that being the highest and the safest point in the town. Well, right now let's go to South Australia, where, shocking news, yes, the Attorney General has been suspended. Let's take a look at that report.
On her way to her lawyer's office, Vicky Chapman is clutching onto the one job she has left, even if in name only.
I remain the Attorney General.
Her statement came just hours after Parliament found her in contempt and kicked her out.
The Attorney-General has been suspended from the service of the House for 6 days.
She wasn't in Parliament for the vote, which got through with the support of Labor and most of the crossbench. The House ruled Ms Chapman deliberately and repeatedly misled Parliament over her decision to block a port development on Kangaroo Island. Vicky Chapman has already resigned as Deputy Premier and as Planning Minister after a committee found she had a conflict of interest. The government urged Parliament to wait for the Ombudsman to investigate, but to no avail.
If the Parliament didn't sanction Vicky Chapman, then that would be a green light for Ministers of the Crown to walk into the People's Parliament and knowingly mislead them with impunity.
My view is well known in relation to the Select Committee of Inquiry and its alleged finding of facts.
Ms Chapman might not actually see out her full suspension, with the government hoping to wind up Parliament this week ahead of the March poll.
I will, of course, otherwise see you all at the election and, of course, proceed with the preparations for that campaign. So thank you very much for your attendance, and I look forward to seeing you during the campaign. Thank you very much.
The loss of Vicky Chapman reduces the government's numbers in the lower house to 21, meaning it needs the support of at least 2 others to win a vote. Leah McLennan, ABC News, Adelaide.
And that's the news from South Australia. Well, staying on South Australia, where the police are investigating 3 murders.
Those involved in this crime are low to mid-level drug dealers and petty criminals from the southern suburbs who realistically get together to bully, threaten and stand over other people. The victims in this, although known to us, the victims simply made bad choices like a lot of other people. They made a bad choice to use drugs and continued to use drugs, and ultimately that's led to them losing their lives. But none of them deserved what happened to them. All have families, friends and people who love them, and those people want answers in relation to what happened. They want the people held accountable, and in the case of Robert Atkins and Jeff Mundy, they want to recover their remains. So I would say to anybody who has information, help those families to provide answers and ring Crime Stoppers tonight. Task Force Southern is one of the largest task forces we've had. As I say, it's a hand-picked team with the best detectives and people working on the job. We'll be relentless in pursuing these people and those associated with them and those who cover up these crimes or assist them in any way. And I'm sure that we will be successful.
And as successful they will be, and of course it is now gone to that extent, but they will be keeping us up to date and we'll find out about that. Well, right now it's time to go to today's interview, and with today's interview what we're going to look at, as I mentioned in the very beginning, is that Pool gate safety puts family at risk in the leaky pool party season. So as we know, it is party season and lots of party will be there. So I hope you're all well. With summer just around the corner, well, it is the first day of summer today. Pool parties are inevitably on the agenda for Aussies families. But at Westcott, the safety of the backyard pool is under scrutiny. And new research is revealing that over 75% of pool owners are not checking the safety of their pool gate, fence, and the surrounds. The research shows majority, which is 87%, of pool owners are planning a pool party this summer, and frighteningly, 1 in 2 Australians believe it is acceptable to prop a pool gate open during the party. Don't have to keep it closed because people move in and out. Well, today we'll be talking to Laurie Lawrence, Check Your Pool Gate Month ambassador. And yes, you will remember, yes, we spoke to him last year. So, this is a fresh new one for this year, and he does a wonderful job in that as well. So Lawrence is a top athlete in his own right, a former rugby union rep, and Olympic and world champion swim coach. Laurie cares deeply about the people he influences, and he refuses to rest until he has achieved his best. Well, looking at the pool legislation, let's talk to Laurie and see what he has to say on this matter. So welcome to the show. Well, as we know that summer is here, and as we spoke about this last year as well, that people will be out and about and there'll be pool parties happening and all that happening. So can you tell us about the Magna Lech Pool Safety Report findings, because it is very important for us to know about that.
Yeah, unbelievable. 57% are not checking their pool gates, latches and surrounds adequately. And 42% of pool owners are only checking their gate once a year. And 1 in 10 only check it every few years. That's not enough. And finally, unbelievably, 33% claim, I can't believe it, they don't have enough time to conduct a safety audit, and another 30% not sure what safety elements to check. And we can answer all those questions. Just get online, checkyourpoolgate.com.au.
Thank you very much. And I couldn't agree more with you, Laurie, because, people have time for everything but not to check the safety, which you would think would be paramount, that, that is something that someone would like to check first. Whether, the season is coming here, kids will be getting in there, well, adults and everyone. So why not check the safety, make sure that, the safety requirements are up to date. So what are some of the common mistakes people make when hosting or attending a pool party?
Well, the Magna Lech Pool Safety Report shows that 49% of Australians believe that it's acceptable to leave a pool gate propped open during the party. And that's crazy. You've got to invite the kids in and you've got to supervise them. Only a quarter of families designate a supervisor to be always in the pool area when children are in the pool. The ultimate mistake that people are making is not giving the safety of the pool area enough attention. That is, checking the pool gate, making sure it's locked, and also appointing a pool supervisor to save the kids in an emergency.
Pool supervisor, that is something that people should really look at, especially when it's a pool party and there's kids involved there as well. So, Laurie, could you please tell us about the perfect pool party guide?
Well, the perfect pool party guide, eh? Fantastic, because we know that 87% of pool owners plan to have a pool party this summer, and another 82% plan to attend a friend's or a family's party. So many people are going to be in and around the water this summer. Check Your Pool Gate Month is about making sure that families have fun, but not at the expense of water safety. We've consulted a lot of experts, to share their tips on everything from hosting a party to decorating, food recipes, music ideas, you name it. We've got the tips on everything for a perfect pool party.
For that perfect pool party, well, that's right. Of course, so when we look at all the things that are happening, so, it is good to have that advice and have that ambassador. So what advice do we have for Aussies to increase their pool safety this summer?
Number one is checking the safety of a pool gate and latch. Make sure there's no way that a young child could gain access to your pool. You'd never forgive yourself. And last year, the drowning stats in the under fives went up 108% with COVID, and most of these drownings occurred in backyard pools. So I'm saying it only takes a few minutes to do a comprehensive safety check that could possibly save a life. You can find a guide at www.checkyourpoolgate.com.au. So if you're having a pool party, make sure you stipulate some rules to keep the guests, especially children, safe.
And thank you very much, Laurie, once again for that information. I just had you mention that web address. So where can Australians go to find out more about Check Your Pool Gate Month and that safety web address, if we could have that again, please?
Jump online, checkyourpoolgate.com.au. It's got fantastic guides for people to use to create the best and safest pool party this year. Go on, checkyourpoolgate.com.au.
Well, Laurie, once again, thank you very much for that. Checkyourpoolgate.com. And of course, as we mentioned, we also place a great value on safety. So for pool safety, for the safety of others, jump on that website and have a look and check for yourself. Make sure that everything is right. So, with the pool safety, it is very, very important. Many times we just, taken it for granted that it is there and, people will come in and they're all responsible people and that things will be okay. Well, things will not always be okay. So it is very important that the pool gates are checked. Well, right now it's time to go to India. With the Daily India Report, let's welcome Ankita.
Welcome to the Daily India Report that brings you glimpses of the changing India and the growing engagement of the Indian diaspora with India. In our first story, India offers vaccines, medical supplies to support African countries hit by Omicron variant of COVID-19. India has offered to supply COVID-19 vaccines, life-saving drugs, test kits and medical equipment to African countries to fight the new Omicron variant of the coronavirus. Omicron has been designated a variant of concern by the World Health Organization based on evidence that it has several mutations that may impact how easily it spreads or the severity of illness it causes. The government said that it stands ready to support the countries affected in Africa in dealing with the Omicron variant, including supplies of Made in India vaccines. It further said India also stands ready to supply essential life-saving drugs, test kits, gloves, PPE kits and medical equipment such as ventilators as may be required. Indian institutions will favorably consider cooperation in genomic surveillance and virus characterization related research work with African counterparts. The Indian government has cleared all orders placed so far by COVAX for supplies of the Covishield vaccine, including to African countries such as Malawi, Ethiopia, Zambia, Mozambique, Guinea and Lesotho. The government also cleared supplies of Covaxin to Botswana, and any new requirement projected bilaterally or through COVAX will be considered expeditiously, according to the statement. India expressed solidarity with countries, particularly in Africa, that have so far been affected by the Omicron variant. India has so far supplied more than 25 million doses of Made in India vaccines to 41 countries in Africa, including nearly 1 million doses as grants to 16 countries and more than 16 million doses under the COVAX facility to 33 countries. The Omicron variant was first detected in South Africa. WHO has said it is not yet clear whether Omicron is more transmissible than other variants such as Delta. The number of people testing positive has risen in South Africa affected by this variant, and epidemiologic studies are underway to understand if it is because of Omicron or other factors. India's central government to review preparedness by states to combat Omicron variant of COVID-19. Indian government's top health official Rajesh Bhushan held a review meeting with all states and union territories over the Omicron variant of coronavirus. The meeting comes just a day after the centre said no cases of the Omicron variant have been detected in the country at present, but pointed out that 2 clusters in Maharashtra and Karnataka are under investigation. Only a day before, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had urged all citizens to remain vigilant, adding that his government's priority is their good health. Omicron, which was first found in South Africa, started making global headlines, putting countries back on high alert. The WHO on November 27 declared Omicron a variant of concern, placing the new strain into the most troubling category of COVID variants along with Delta and its weaker rivals Alpha, Beta and Gamma. India will implement tightened travel rules and check for visitors with cases emerging in Botswana, Italy, Hong Kong, Australia, Belgium, the UK, Denmark, Germany, Canada, Israel and Czech Republic. The cases in Hong Kong are particularly troubling because the 2 patients, arrivals from southern Africa, had been quarantined in separate rooms, suggesting the B.1.1.529 variant is airborne. Hospitals across India are on high alert and gearing up to handle any possible future surge. Besides reserving isolation wards and ICUs for COVID-19 patients, hospitals have decided to scale up screening of patients arriving with travel history. Controversial 3 farm laws repealed in a hurry by both houses of Indian Parliament. The 3 controversial agricultural reform laws enacted by the government of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2020 were finally repeated by Indian Parliament on 29th November 2021. The government withdrew the 3 contentious farm laws through a single bill in Parliament, paving the way for a resolution of the year-long friction with farmers. There was literally no discussion. The Farm Laws Repeal Bill 2021 to withdraw the 3 farm laws was introduced and passed in just 4 minutes in the Lok Sabha on the very first day of the winter session. In the Rajya Sabha, it was passed after a short discussion. While supporting the repeal bill, the opposition wanted to have a longer discussion on the farm laws and felt that the time allotted was not sufficient. Given the boiling political situation in states like Uttar Pradesh, Punjab and Uttarakhand, which go to the polls every next year and where the BJP has a lot at stake, the Indian government was in a tearing hurry to resolve the matter at the earliest. The government's view was that since the opposition was demanding the repeal of the 3 laws and had no objection to their withdrawal, there was no need for a discussion. Unable to express their views on the issue, the opposition vented out its anger outside Parliament. Indian Finance Minister clarifies there is no proposal to recognize Bitcoin as a currency. Indian Parliament was informed by Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman that it has no proposal to recognize Bitcoin as a currency in the country. The minister told the Lok Sabha that the government does not collect data on Bitcoin transactions. Bitcoin is a form of digital currency which allows people to buy goods and services among others. In the ongoing winter session of Parliament, the centre aims to table the Cryptocurrency and Regulation of Official Digital Currency Bill 2021, through which it seeks a ban on all private cryptocurrencies. At present, there is no regulation or ban in the country on cryptocurrency. The Reserve Bank of India has maintained its strong views against cryptocurrencies, saying they pose serious threats to macroeconomic and financial stability. The central bank also doubted the reported number of investors trading on them and their claimed market valuations. Indian Textile Inc. rolls out the red carpet for UAE, rest of the world. Indian textile leaders have rolled out the red carpet to investors from the UAE and other parts of the world, urging them to become part of the country's textile success story. At a global investor summit organized as part of the ongoing Textile Week at the India Pavilion in Expo 2020, Dubai, government representatives and industry stakeholders highlighted Dubai's role as a great platform for the Indian textile industry to target the Middle East and North Africa markets and beyond. The participants deliberated on the potential of the Indian textile sector and deepening engagement with the UAE and the world. Emphasizing the strong network between India and the UAE, Speaker said that the UAE is a preferred destination for India due to its strategic location, explaining how the two nations also shared strong trade and cultural ties. Consul General of India in Dubai, Dr. Aman Puri, in his keynote address highlighted strong relations of India and the UAE and the potential of taking advantage of Dubai's strategic location for the Indian textile sector to expand globally. The connection between the UAE and the Indian business entities has enabled trade and commerce to grow with the region. Indian businessmen in the sector must look at Dubai as a springboard for their entrepreneurial journey and global expansion in the MENA region and beyond. Indian origin CEOs rule the roost of tech giants in Silicon Valley. Latest, IIT Bombay alumnus Parag Agrawal takes over as Twitter CEO. Twitter's co-founder Jack Dorsey on November 29th announced that he has stepped down from the role of the microblogging site's chief executive officer. Parag Agrawal, the company's chief technology officer, will replace Dorsey immediately. Agrawal is an alumnus of the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. Dorsey said that there were 3 reasons why he chose to resign. He said that it was because Agrawal was taking his place. Entrepreneur Brett Taylor is becoming a member of the board. The third reason was the people who had the potential to change the course of the company. Indians across the globe had a field day when Agrawal was appointed as the new CEO. Reacting to the news, Elon Musk said in a tweet that the USA benefits greatly from Indian talent. Parag Agrawal has become the 4th Indian to run a Silicon Valley company. Agrawal has joined the league of Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, Alphabet and Google CEO Sundar Pichai, Adobe President and CEO Santanu Narayan, and IBM Group CEO Arvind Krishna. 37-year-old Agrawal is also one of the youngest CEOs who graduated from India's premier engineering college, IIT Mumbai. He did his bachelor's in engineering in computer science from IIT. Later, Agrawal attained his post-graduation degree from Stanford University. Before Twitter, he was associated with companies including Microsoft, AT&T, and Yahoo. Another big sports outing from Bollywood. In the trailer of the film 83, superstar Ranveer Singh leads Team India cricket to victory, reprising the character of Indian captain Kapil Dev.
I say before, we're here to win.
Bollywood and sports fans had anxiously awaited this film. Well, the trailer of the film 83 is out. The film stars Ranveer Singh and Deepika Padukone. The film's release got delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. 83 will premiere on Christmas Day 2021. In the 3-minute 49-second trailer, director Kabir Khan takes you back to 1983 when India made a historic win in the Men's Cricket World Cup. The trailer makes you through the Indian team's journey, their struggles, their wins and their losses. Deepika Padukone makes an appearance in the trailer and she's the perfect supportive wife. According to a release, actors trained for months with the real cricketers they were portraying in order to understand the nuances of the bat and ball game that originated in East England. The film will be released in cinemas in Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada and Malayalam. The project is collectively produced by Deepika Padukone, Kabir Khan, Vishnu Vardhan Induri, Sajid Nadiawala, Phantom Films, Reliance Entertainment. That's all for this bulletin of Daily India Report. Thank you for watching.
And thank you very much, Ankita. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's about all we have time for today. We will see you first up tomorrow again at 9 and then 10. Well, until then, it's goodbye from us.